Okay. So I'm going to kind of ask questions as we go along doing this. And that way, for those, you all can kind of get practice too at the same time, not just me. So this awesome strand of DNA I just drew is up here. And we got to kind of pull it apart, right? Where does that happen? Where do we start this?
Promoter.
So we're going to replicate this, DNA strands. Where does this begin?
Origin.
Yeah, keep going with it.
Okay.
Keep saying it.
I don't know.
The origin of
I don't know.
replication,
Oh, okay.
right?
Oh, right.
So look right here.
Oh, yeah,
If you look on page 315, this is replication,
Right.
and this is where it gets really hard. When you study this, study each one separately. Study replication and then take a 10-minute break and then go back and then hit transcription and then take a break and then go hit translation. Because if you just jumble it all together, then it all kind of becomes one. And then when you get asked a question, it's all one in your mind, but the question wants just one of them. So, okay, so we start at the origin of replication with replication. Because it makes sense, right? Origin of replication and replication. Okay, so we'll start that. And we'll kind of pull this apart. Okay, now we have certain enzymes that will function to help make this work. One helps pull these strands apart. What is the name of this one? Helicase, yeah. So we'll say this thing's about right here, right? And it's working this way, right? Pulling those things apart. Okay, we'll put I didn't see it down spelling that real fast. Where is that right there? There we go. I was like, helicase, but I don't know why there's like something wrong with me. Okay. Now we have another one that helps with the tension that's on these strands, right? Because if you ever pull the rope right and they're twisted and you keep doing it, it gets more and more tight. So we have an enzyme that helps kind of relieve that tension that happens in these strands. What's the name of that one?
Topoisomerase or something.
Topoisomerase.
There
Yeah.
we go.
I was going to do it green also. But it's kind of like down here, Helping relieve that tension. So where we started, now we have something that's actually doing the replicating of the DNA strand that's we have right on this one in the top one. What's the actual guy that's like doing the copying? That's like the copying machine.
I'll say it's DNA
Good start.
polymerase.
Yeah, great. Which one?
1, 2, or 3.
Well,
3. I think it's one of those.
hello.
Sorry.
Hey, they're coming.
So I didn't know where this was.
There you
I know
go.
I didn't either. I
I know, I was like, oh, messenger, over there. Oh, not anymore. Thank you.
Sweet. And we'll talk about this later.
Okay.
Okay. So DNA, you said we're going to replication. I don't know if we did this or not.
Mhm,
We
yeah.
did, didn't we? So you can help me.
Oh, we'll see.
So we have DNA, you said polymerase 1, 2, or 3?
Does what?
It's 3.
3, it's 3, right?
Yeah.
So there's not actually, for as far as we're concerned, or that I even know, from what they're taught, there's not like a DNA polymerase 2 that we deal with, that we will deal with. It's
there
only a
is
1
a-
and a 3.
There is a number 2 though, right? Because
Probably, but we don't know it. It makes sense
Not
if there's a
for
1,
that.
2, and a 3, but I don't know what it does. So that means you don't have to do what it is.
This is DNA polymerase 3.
3. Yep. I always remember that. It's always great, just kind of step back from this to find easy ways to remember these things, like attach it with something. Like for me, I'm the third, and as the oldest, I always remember doing all the work. And DNA polymerase does most of the work and all of this copying, so that's why it's easy to remember. But just find a way, ways to remember, the names of things and what they do. So, we have DNA polymerase. He's right here, we'll say, and he's copying this new strand I've got, okay? And as far as we're concerned, if that was like our initial, we just opened it up, then, you know, we're good right there. And you'll have the same thing going on this strand right here, just, right? These will be going that way, and the DNA polymerase will be working this way. Does that make sense? Because you have to go from 5 to 3. So whatever's going this way on this side, if they're anti-parallel, it's going to go opposite on the other side. Well, what happens now, whenever because this continues going, right? It gets bigger and bigger. So what happens now that we have something bigger like this, and our original where we started was probably about right here. Got our DNA polymerase, drawn the helicase, topoisomerase, and and there's one thing I forgot.
The single strand.
Yes. What do those do? What do these single-stranded proteins do?
Keep the DNA afloat.
Yeah, perfect. And I'm just going to kind of draw those like right along here.
They're called single-strand proteins.
Single-stranded binding.
Okay.
Yeah. That'll be like right along here, keeping those things apart. Okay. Single-stranded binding protein. I just drew 2 of them right here, so this doesn't collapse back in, and then helicase is just doing like nothing. It's like running on a treadmill. So we're right here, but we have all these segments, right, that need to be copied. I say segments, it's like I'm turning to like I get the answer, I guess, but how do we get this now copied on this side?
Not for the RNA primer.
Yeah, we have primase, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, what color?
Is it RNA primase?
RNA, yeah.
Primers, yeah.
And that's key because it codes RNA, not DNA, right? So you have these guys, they've come on in. So here I'll draw the RNA, like a little primer. I'll draw another one right here, and then I'll draw him right here. I'll draw him like a circle. Because he's happy he's doing work. He's putting the RNA, he's putting the primer on. So primase, we can put these words together. He primes, he puts down the primer, which is just this RNA complementary strand, so you know, whatever this strand is, it's going to be complementary to that, just like other DNA, but it's RNA now. And that's just setting up for us to be able to continue going to here, and then do here and here. Okay? So we said DNA polymerase is the one that does this most of all this work, right? Well, which one? 3. Perfect. So what will happen is, you have other DNA polymerase is 3s. That's a lot of plurals. I'll probably figure out how to say that right, huh? He'll come on here, and he will move this way, just like he does here. And as he does so, he'll leave this strand of complementary DNA, helping with the continued process of copying. Now I'll ask, why do we have to have this primer? Why is it so important?
Gives it something to attach to, knows where to start.
Yep, exactly. It's just a starting place. Because you have to go 5 to 3, and you can't just start from nothing. It takes money to earn money, right? That kind of thing. You can't just start nowhere and then just start building. You can't build a building just on nothing. You have to have a foundation. So that's what's going on here. Good.
My question is this the leading strand or the lagging strand?
These are lagging strands
Okay.
behind. Yeah.
The leading was the continuous.
It's this one that starts off, right?
Okay.
And again, like I said, I'm not drawing it, but all this is happening down here in the reverse direction. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Are the Okazaki fragments before DNA polymerase 3 comes in and like starts copying it, replicating it, or is it before that or after that?
What I think it is before these are actually brought together by DNA ligase,
Mm-hmm.
each little separate strand, the whole
Oh,
time is
okay.
considered an Okazaki fragment.
Okay.
So the ligase just seals the little gaps because they're.
Yeah, he's like a
Yeah.
glue gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the gaps in between each other, not the two separate strands.
Right, because they already come together by the DNA polymerase 3, which places down those base pairs, which bind
Okay.
by the hydrogen bonding, right?
Gotcha.
But the hydrogen bonding brings these together, right? However, in between these two, and you'll see I left a line, I hope you can see it. The covalent bond between those two phosphate groups, the phosphodiester bond, has not been formed between here and here, okay? And that's important. DNA polymerase can only put them down. This is like Ford, whatever motor assembly. You can only do one thing. And so each one's just doing its own thing. So now what will happen is you will get DNA polymerase 1 now, and he will come in running out of colors. Draw like this. He comes in and he changes this blue one, or the RNA, into DNA. And then he will go off and be happy. However, they're still not connected. He just changed it to RNA.
What changes the RNA to DNA?
DNA polymerase 1. DNA polymerase 1 will change that to DNA, which is good, because we're done with the primer. We don't have any use for that anymore. We essentially just want to make DNA, so that's what we're working towards. And then, at the very end, I need more colors. Who's about the Kelson's glass? Any of y'all? I need that belt.
Marker belt. No one else in there?
Then, okay, I'm going to erase the DNA polymerase, okay?
Mm.
The DNA polymerase 1. And I'm going to erase the DNA polymerase 3 so I can show you